Hey everybody, what's going on? It's Space Cowboy here. Welcome back. Very long video that we got here for you. It is a reaction to something that I was requested to react to. I had many people reach out to me in DMs, emails, and comments saying, hey, Mike Fisher apologized today. You should take a look because they understand that I went at Mike Fisher for the CJ Stroud story. So he apologized today about something. I don't know what it is. This is the first time that I'm listening to it, and you're going to listen to me react to it live. So sit back, relax, and let's get into it. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, I have it put at 1.5 speed so we can get through as quickly as possible. And on top of that, I'm not sure how long this goes on for. I have not seen this apology yet, so I'm going to be reacting and talking and stopping. So this is going to be a longer form video, so get your popcorn ready, whatever you got to do, or just sit down and listen. We're going to just listen to this, and I'm going to be as honest with you as possible on how I feel about it and why I might take issue to things he might say, or if he does apologize for certain things, if, I accept that. Because, again, the reason I'm, doing this video is because myself and Jay Tuck over at CFO Sports started talking about this on Twitter. I made a video about it. People didn't like that I made the video about it because it made it seem like I was trying to clickbait off of Mike Fisher or something. No, there's a reason I took issue with the story, and I will mention it again in here as we go through it, depending on what he says about it, okay? So let's just listen in. We'll be as honest, objective as possible, and we'll go from there.
Good morning, breakfast at Fishney's. Mike Fisher, your trusty and trusted, sale reporter, live in Frisco. This has been a very educational and even a little bit emotional time for me. Not that I'm the story. I'm just a broken down old sports writer. But it's occurred to me, and I alluded to this a little bit earlier this morning when I was motivated to do our Michael Irvin visit live at whatever time that was, 5:15. Oh man, why don't you go to bed? Well, I'll tell you why, because I have to get up and pee all the time. So if I'm going to get up and pee, I might as well do some work while I'm standing by the toilet. Over the course of our time here, and now it's been, 2 years of us building what we do here, obviously thanks to you, 62,000 fish heads in Cowboy Nation. There is no question that what I think, and I mentioned the other day about my particular, I don't know, I barely know what a brand is, but I know what my personality is, and aggressive, assertive, abrasive, something like that, somewhere in there, I get that. And I certainly, as I did the Ricky Nelson quote the other day too, if you can't please everyone, you got it. And I certainly do have it as a goal here and in my work, I'm trying to have fun. So I am absolutely trying to amuse myself. And like most people, right or wrong, I think I'm hilarious. And you probably do too. No, I'm not saying you think I'm hilarious. I'm saying you probably think you're hilarious. I don't know anybody that thinks that they don't have a great sense of humor and great fashion sense. Everybody thinks they know how to dress and that they're funny. And I'm no different. As you can see, I clearly know how to dress. And what I've done that I've realized has stepped on way too many toes, including some guys and gals who over the years have messaged me saying, will you come on our show? Can we meet in Oxnard? Which I always try to do. And so I've met a lot of these guys, at least very briefly. But I'm coming to realize that our CJ Stroud story isn't about really a lack of trust in our reporting. What it's done is cause people who feel like I've elbowed them in the face for the sake of humor or driven by arrogance or whatever. And now they're getting the chance to elbow me back.
No, Mike, that's exactly why we took issue with the story, though. Like, I want to make it clear. The reason I put my video out was because I felt like the story was pushing an agenda for the front office or for those that don't like Dak Prescott to continue to berate him or talk about something. And on top of that, it doesn't make sense. I tweeted you, but I tweeted at you. I added you and I said, well, Mr. Fisher, why are you putting this out here knowing how unlikely this is? And maybe you'll talk about that, and I'll be fair there. Again, I have not gotten that far here. But I talked about it, why I took issue with why you put it out there, why you put this story out there. You have yet to respond as of me reacting to this video, so you might have, I don't know. But that's my problem. That is exactly why everybody was upset, Mike. because you put this story out here. You're the only person that put the story out, and it's kind of weird how this is taking place when we're starting to have conversations about Dak Prescott being extended. Like, it just doesn't seem right, Mike. And that's why we were coming at you. It seems like you're talking about a story that's very unlikely to happen. You've talked about it. I always sent the clip that you said where you talked about how we went into great detail about how this is unlikely to happen. When I read your article, you didn't talk about the cap hit. All you talked about was it doesn't make sense because the Cowboys said that they're looking to extend Dak Prescott. You didn't talk about the cap hit, which is a ridiculous amount, even if the Cowboys were to trade, that Dak has a no trade clause, that the draft capital doesn't make sense. Like, the value chart to get the number 3 overall pick, which would be the only possible way that you can end up getting CJ Stroud, honestly, with how this draft will fall. The Dallas Cowboys draft as a whole is not even worth half of that, basically. And we're here talking about this story because you put it out there, Mike. You put this story out there. You know, and if you own up to that, I applaud you for being honest with that. But that's why we took issue, because the story seems like bullshit. That's why.
And so I'm going to say this as clearly as I can. And I can't possibly name all the people that I may have offended. But one of my things for the last 2 years, and my motivation is, frankly, protecting my nest. I've been doing this a long time, and I take what we do here seriously, and I take our reporting seriously. I'm telling you, if I told you who the source is on the Cowboy connection with the quarterback from Ohio State, CJ Stroud, if I told you, you would piss your pants. And you would also quit, those of you who aren't buying the story, you would also quit not buying the story.
Then just say it. Like, I get it. It's a source. They like to stay anonymous. Then just say it. If they were willing to put their name out there, then say it. I'm just being honest with you. Like, then just say it. Like, I would be a little bit more believable if I had a name on there. You know what I mean? But, like, this isn't about a... I'll get into that in just a second. I'll get into that in just a second. Let me just listen to what you have to say.
I've addressed this a number of times, and maybe not clearly enough, or maybe when I address it, it's offset when I say, those guys in their mother's basements. Ha, ha, ha. I went back and looked at some of that this morning, at how hilariously funny I am. But I say that in my assertive, abrasive, arrogant attempts at humor. Jason B., I'm confused. The CJ Stroud story was not a farce. What are you apologizing for? No, I'm not apologizing for the story or the reporting. I'm not even apologizing for the way that I write headlines or put up thumbnails. Look at the thumbnail today. And hang on, because we'll get there. Pastor of Muppets. The Cowboys have interest in lots of guys. And Pastor, when I find out, because Pastor's point is right, it may be a story, but even if it's not attainable, it doesn't mean we can't talk about it. If I find out that the Cowboys have interest, or if the Morning News, or ESPN, or the Star Telegram, or the Athletic finds out that the Cowboys have interest in a specific player, and that information is sourced, and the specific player is newsworthy, they will write about it. I promise you, if my colleagues and friends, John Machota, James Slater, Todd Archer, Calvin, Clarence, David Moore, Delkin, had this information on CJ Stroud, they would have written a story about it.
Now, I'm not going to say whether they would have done that or not. I don't know these people, like, personally. I know who they are. But, Mike, I want to make this clear. You're the only person that wrote about this story. Why did no one else talk about it? Are you the only person that got the source? Which it seems like you were the only person that got the source, which we don't know the name of. And, you know, the whole in your mother's basement, that's in regard, and I'm going to talk about this in just a second. But getting back to the CJ Stroud story, you're not apologizing for how you titled it. That's fine. Like, hey, they're intrigued by CJ Stroud. You don't apologize for how you write titles, how you write your articles. Listen, you're being honest. I'll give you that. I'm not going to take that away from you. If you're being honest with that, cool, good for you. Here's my issue. My issue is that when you put this out there, it makes it seem like you're pushing an agenda. That's why I took an issue with and why I made a video about why I think it was bullshit. The reason is because I don't have a shadow of a doubt that the Cowboys are interested in certain quarterbacks in this draft class. But why is it that, number one, you're the only dude that's talking about it? Number two, you had not just me, you had professional individuals from NBC, Fox Sports, Mike Florio, etc., say that the story was a load of nonsense because of how unreal it is. And you say you'll talk about it. Okay, listen, you're being honest. I'm going to be honest myself. I think that you putting the story out there, that is why everyone is upset with you. You put a story out there that everyone looked at you and said that this guy is full of shit. Am I saying you're full of shit? No. I'm just saying what others have been saying. You can go on Twitter. You can look at comments. That's what many people have said, and I'm reiterating that information just for everybody here. That's why I took issue with it and why many others took issue with it, Mike. You apologized for this, I guess what you said about Cowboys YouTubers, which I think you're getting to in just a second, where we're from our mother's basement. Let me tell you something, Mike. I've been on YouTube for close to a decade plus. That doesn't make me better than you. I'm not implying that. Absolutely not. Everybody's welcome to come on YouTube and do their job. I have no issues with that. Here's my problem. My problem is, Mike, is that when you step into here and you want to act high and mighty like you have, I understand that you attribute that to your humor. That's when we take issue. You're coming on here, you're spitting on the hands that fed you, and it makes it seem like you are a dick. That's just how it is. It makes it seem like you're that. And again, I would love for us to find some resolution here, and again, we might get that later in, but with me reacting to this blindly and not seeing what you said, and I don't want to assume things. Mike, when you are being abrasive to us in this community that have been here for such a long time, and you said you've been here for 2 years, which I think you've been here longer. I could be wrong there. That's when we start having issue. You're acting because since you're the insider, since you're the reporter for SI.com that you love to talk about, that you make it seem like we're nobodies. I'm just saying, that's just what it feels like, and just going from there. So let's just continue.
Based on the source. I promise you. But it's not the story. I've come to realize it's not the story. D.B. Cooper, you're missing the point. This to be dismissive and say, oh, everybody's interested in everybody, completely misses the point. But that's okay, because that's not the point of this morning's monologue. Dan Brigsby is here, Uncle Fish Premium. Class is in session. Again, this is a great, I'm glad you brought this up. When I talk about how this is a bar room and a classroom, I absolutely understand more than I ever have that when I say this is a classroom, that there can be 6 of you or 60,000 of you who go, why don't you back off a little bit, Professor? Maybe. But without a doubt, and Boss Cowboy, Big Game James, Law Nation, why don't you hear this?
Just as a heads up, I was actually watching the final word with Boss, Law, and Big Game James. They talked about why the article was bullshit, and in their eyes, and why it was clickbait. In their eyes, okay? And I might attach that into this video. I don't know how long the video is going to come out to, but if I have time, I might add snippets of that.
Bro, this blew up. See, my boy Tuck been flaming fish. Ooh,
he been flaming her. He been flame on.
Ooh, he been.
Yo got fire.
Man, let me go push that button. Boy, I'm talking about no mercy.
Yeah. Yo got fire.
He been like every tweet.
About every tweet.
He had like 17 tweets about it.
Wow. Yeah, he been going in. But see, this is the truth. I didn't think this was gonna take off like it did. Oh, shout out to Space too. Space been going at him too. Space and Tuck, they've been
Yoga flame.
They've been flaming. All right. So we gonna talk about this real quick. But see, this is the thing. This thing did take off, bro. Go look around. Bro, it's everywhere. Wow. It's everywhere. Everybody, it's on NBC, dog.
Matt Florio.
Wow. And he's just as garbage.
This is the worst part about Matt Florio. Matt Florio admitted at the end. He wanted to click, though. See, the title is to get you to click. Report, Cowboys intrigued by CJ. Then once you click, you got to read all the way down to him say, there's also a chance that the Cowboys are leaking the notion that Wait, what do you mean, Mike Florio? Wait, why didn't you say Mike Fisher?
Right.
Why did you say the Cowboys? Are you saying, Mike Florio, that the Cowboys use Mike Fisher?
Exactly.
Mike, listen, listen, you can call us little bitty, itty bitty YouTubers all you want.
Yeah.
Mike Florio, a big boy. Mike Florio called him out. You know what I'm saying? We just some
They
itty
lying,
bitty.
yeah.
We in our mama's basement. Sure, cool. Mike Florio
Yeah, I
in
heard
the
that
NBC
one.
studio, dog.
Right.
So listen, this is the thing. This shout out to the nation, dog. My boy, main purpose. Oh my God.
Maintaining, yeah, that's why I like main purpose.
Boy, say that boy said Mike Fisher does the dirty work again. It sounds like he matching what Mike Florio said. Wait.
Shout out to main purpose.
And this is the deal, bro. This is the deal. Fisher, you are also a YouTuber like us. Come on now.
Remember remember he had the disdain of the YouTubers? He had the disdain. They're just
You
YouTubers.
one of us, bro.
And then the next year you got right on YouTube. The next year you got right on YouTube.
I'm happy he growing too. I'm one of those dudes. I'm happy he doing good. I'm happy. Some boys be like, oh man, he colonized. He says, hey, whatever. I'm cool with it because this is what I want. I want more people watching YouTube. I do. I'm being all. Can I be real? Do y'all want me to lie or tell the truth? You want me to tell the truth? I want him to get 300,000 subs by next year. I want it for him. I want 300,000 subs by next year because I don't even care. Because the more people watching YouTube, the more videos gonna be recommended to Boss Cowboy Sports, Big Game James, Space City. All of us gonna get recommended to everybody. I want as many people watching YouTube as possible. Because you're gonna eventually come across Law Nation. You're gonna eventually come across Big Game James. Some people gonna stay where they feel the most comfortable, but some people gonna be like, you know what? I like them over here. More for me. But at the end of the day, why Mike Florio calling out people like that? Can somebody answer that question, Big? What's the deal with that? Why you think? And
Because he
then
knows it's BS. Because he knows it's BS. Put the article back up. This is what I want to read.
look at this last part.
Our guess that it's nothing. And even if it is something, there's nothing the Cowboys can really do about it. But just like this part, look at this end part where it says, if so, Prescott and his representatives likely see through that rust.
The rules. Yeah.
The rules.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah,
so
some major rules.
So basically what he's saying is Prescott already know how y'all play the game. Y'all already know how y'all negotiate. So we ain't even going to listen to this because we know how y'all do. We know how y'all act. You get what I mean? And it's just sad because what team ain't going to be intrigued by CJ Stroud? Like just how you clicked it.
That. Yeah.
That's how. And here's the thing. I didn't know nothing about clickbait when I first started this. People were like, oh, that's clickbait. And I'm like, what is clickbait? I didn't know what it was. I didn't know what it was. I had to find out what it was. And I'm like, oh, damn, that's what clickbait is? Well, I'll make sure I don't do that. No, I don't do no clickbait. I ain't trying to do no sensationalism. But Law, to see this man say they are intrigued, that was the what you call the hedge.
Yeah.
That was the hedge.
Yeah.
So if people come at me, I say they were intrigued. Like, oh, these dudes be good with it. You threw that intrigued in there to make it look like if the heat came on you, you got the fallback and say, I didn't say they wanted him. I said they were intrigued.
Yeah.
That's classic clickbait, right? Because when anybody sees intrigue, what do you think the first thing they're going to do? They're going to click on it because Cowboys are intrigued by CJ Stroud, and you know damn well they're not going to get him. They know damn well he's not going to fall to no damn 26. And then when I heard Mike Fisher go, and just by some chance that CJ Stroud falls, he's not falling to no damn 26. So shut the hell up. That's a damn lie. He's not falling to 26. You a damn lie to even say if by chance they're going to have a real. You feel me? Just cut that crap out. Just stop it. Like the Michael Jordan gift where it says stop it. Get some help. That's what you need to do right now because you know damn well that's not happening.
And listen, I'm going to try to help some of y'all out. I'm going to be all the way honest with y'all, try to help some of y'all out. I do understand that when some people, and this is no shot at Mike Fisher, this goes for all insiders, because I do believe he is an insider. He got the number of Jerry and Steven. He does. Hey. That is an insider. I'm not going to cap like he ain't got no connects. He got major connects. So, but this is the deal. And shout out to his hard work, too. It took a whole lot of work for him to become who he is. I respect him. You know what I'm saying? I respect his hustle. I respect all of that. I just see through it. So this is the deal that I'm going to say, just keeping it all the way real. We going to help you today, and I'm going to tell y'all something. See, what's happening with a lot of these usual suspects. That's why this is so important to call it the usual suspects. See, a lot of people like to line up like they better than others because they have privileged seats, right? Where you might be sitting in the press conference, you're able to ask you a couple of questions. That's cool. But see, sometimes you're dealing with Jerry Jones who knows how to also work you. Because it's not just about you working him. It's about him working you. So when he wants some leverage, who he going to talk to? The usual suspects. So, and what I mean by that, it's going to be the people we trust the most. Yeah. So you got to be careful trusting any one of them.
But here's the thing, guys. Mike, the reason we were upset with you, and I could speak for some people because they've given me permission to, the reason that we were upset now that we came after you after this story was because of the story itself. Mike, that's why we got pissed off with you. Because you put this story out there, and it felt like that it wasn't with the best interest at heart. It made it seem like you were putting something out there to push an agenda for the front office, which is many of what many people say, what they interpret from the story. It makes it seem like that they are trying to get rid of Dak Prescott. And I'm not saying that's what you said in your article. I understand that. But it makes it seem like that, Mike. That's just me being honest with you. That's not what we had an issue with. We don't, like, that main issue with the CJ Stroud story was the story itself. It had nothing to do with acting abrasive towards Cowboys YouTubers. Just being honest, okay, Mike?
When I have, over the years, 2 years of doing this, shouted out Law Nation in a positive way, as I always have, because he helped me set this up. You, Law Nation, helped me set this up. You taught me how to do this. I am indebted to you for that. And I think I've said it 1,000 times. I think on Twitter, Twitter's where I know most of these fellas. I think Boss Cowboy follows me. I went and followed him this morning. I think Big Game James follows me. I went and followed him this morning. But I want to make this really clear. This isn't an apology for the story or an apology for any story that we've ever written. If I put it in print, it belongs there. I mean it. And that's not me being arrogant. I mean it.
Okay, and I mean, if you're being honest with there, Mike, cool. I respect that. Listen, if you're being honest that you're putting it out there, okay. But I'm just telling you right now, Mike, that is why people took issue with you. It's because of the story you put out. I'm just being honest, Mike. If it was for something else, I would not have said anything. And I wouldn't have, in fact, done the video the way I'm doing it here and said the things that I said in this video right now. It's because of what you put out there, and you've only mentioned Law right now. Let's see if you mention anybody else. But on the final word, the reason they talked about it was because you put the story out there. I'm sorry, Mike. That is why they talked about it. And if you listened into what they had to say, that is exactly why they talked about it. Okay? That's just what I want to get very clear with everybody. Mike, I'm not sure if you're, like, actually dismissing that. I don't know what's going on there. And people that are watching that are fans of Mike Fisher, I'm not trying to come out here and bash him. I'm just being real. That is why we are talking about this right now. He has not apologized about the story, but he's apologizing about other things that he believes he's done. And, again, the reason why this has started is because of that story.
It's my job. But when I say Mom's Basement, and I might mean that guy, or that guy, with my purpose being to protect my fort, because information is my stock in trade, and I take it seriously. And so when I say Mom's Basement, and in my mind, I'm thinking about that guy, or maybe I'm just thinking in general, I've come to realize Boss Cowboy, Big Game James, Law Nation, and Big Game James and Boss Cowboy, I don't think I know personally. I think we've done some email exchanges. I think we've done some, hey, come on my show. Obviously, I've been on Law Nation show. He's been on mine. Skywalker, another guy. Skywalker has helped me with technical stuff. Skywalker Steel. Mark Holmes has helped advise me. Jeff Kavanaugh is the person that told me, get your ass on YouTube. Gavin Dawson helped me get on YouTube. Hope I'm not leaving anybody out. And don't be mad at me if I'm leaving you out. But there is this small army of guys who have helped me to do this. Just like there's been an army of people who helped me do newspaper, radio, TV, whatnot, and digital. I hope I've helped some people back. But I've also gotten under the skin of people who think I'm talking about them when I do Mom's Basement. And that's what I'm apologizing for. My assertive, arrogant abrasiveness, trying to be funny, and trying to protect my fort causes me to say things like Mom's Basement that might cause, I probably think did cause, Boss Cowboy, Big Game James, and even Law Nation, who's my friend. I talk to him frequently, or used to.
Mike, I'm getting sick and tired of this. Stop lying. I don't know if you are. I'm just, the reason why I'm getting pissed off here is because, Mike, the reason we are annoyed with you is because of the CJ Stroud story. It has nothing to do with what you just said. Can you, like, get it through your thick skull? And I'm going to be honest with you right now, Mike. If you're, I appreciate the apology in the sense of you trying to defend your fort, however you wish to word it, like you did. Cool. You know what? I didn't mean it. That's fine. That's cool. But all the people you mentioned, I could be wrong, but I don't see you talking to them anymore. I've talked to some of these individuals, and I'm not going to say what they've said, but can I just be real, Mike? If they helped you, why is it that you left them in the dust? I don't see you talking to Mark Holmes. I've seen you talk to Law. I haven't seen you talk to these other individuals. I'm just being real with you. Like, where is this conversation? I don't give a shit that I wasn't included. My name was dropped on your channel. You didn't say you didn't know who I was. That's okay. Hi, my name's Space Cowboy. I'm professionally been on YouTube for 10 plus years. And here's the thing. If I get something wrong, I have to own up for it. I put my opinions out there. I put what I'm hearing out there. I'll be honest. But Mike, what we're not going to do is be disingenuous here. Mike, the reason why we are upset with you is because you put this story out there. If you don't want to apologize for that, okay, I respect your opinion to not apologize for that. But my thing that I'm doing here, reacting to what you have to say, that is exactly why we are upset with you. You put the CJ Stroud story out there when it didn't make any sense to put out there to many people's eyes. It caused a firestorm on Twitter, and that's why we went after you.
And I called him this morning. I messaged Boss Cowboy this morning. I messaged Big Game James this morning. I called Law Nation 20 minutes ago. So I'm telling you to your face, when I do the mom's basement thing, I'm not talking about you. I'm not talking about the people who have helped me or the people that I've helped. But I'm going to quit doing it. Deal? Deal. That's my mea culpa. A little less, I can't be less assertive. I can't be less aggressive. I wouldn't know how. I probably could be less arrogant. I could probably try to pull that off. And I promise you I will. Now, to the idea of headlines, clickbait, and thumbnails. I'm really good at that stuff. Oh, there I go again being arrogant. Okay, let me put it another way. I'm trying to be really good at that stuff. I absolutely understand how to write a headline that gets people to go, I'd like to read that story.
I'm going to stop here. I do accept the apology of if, with you, like, putting us as I'll get you there. I'm going to be real. I'm going to be fair. I accept your apology. Like, hey, if I didn't mean that, that's cool. But again, that's not what we're apologizing about and why we should be talking about this whole monologue that you have. It's because you put the CJ Stroud story out there. Point blank period.
My view on clickbait is if the story doesn't deliver what the headline promises, then it's clickbait. The CJ Stroud story is real. And again, to repeat, I don't think this handful of guys is angry about the story. I really don't think that most thinking Cowboy watchers believe that it's made up. I refuse to believe that.
Mike, that is exactly why everybody's calling cap on your story. Everyone thinks it's made up. Whether you're saying what you're saying is true, which at this point, I'm going to be honest, I never said the story wasn't true. I think the problem is people think that it's made up. It makes no sense why this is coming out now, like I said previously. That's the problem we have. Listen, I get it. You're a reporter. You need people to listen into what you have to say. I get it. Clickbait, I understand that definition, and I agree with you there. The problem is that why are we even talking about this? You said that anybody else would have ran with the story, then, it just seems like your credibility's at risk, Mike. Just being honest.
The guys I've mentioned before, when their thumbnails, they're very clever at it. Law Nation's very clever. It's his YouTube thing is extremely attractive and eye-catching and professionally done. And he knows that. By the way, Law Nation, I'm speaking to you again. You offered to do that for me, remember? And then I realized that's too many bells and whistles for me. I'll get lost and confused. I have to throw this out. Last time I checked, seriously, this is why I'm calling Law Nation, and this is why I'm yelling out and shouting out to Boss and James and others. If I've offended you, feel free to email me. And honestly, if my arrogance is the reason that you feel I've offended you, I do owe you an apology because I cannot deny that. I cannot deny the way I come across. I recognize it. I've been this way since 6 years old.
I get it. Listen, and Mike, I'm going to be honest with you. I'm not you know, like on here, I like to joke around. I'm not very arrogant, but like, sometimes, you get, you have those conversations. I understand where he's coming from, though. I get it. But my main thing is, Mike, is again, I was never, I was pissed off with what you said in regards to our community. But again, we take issue with what you said in the story. It has nothing, I repeat, nothing to do with what you apologized for. Once again.
They told me I was arrogant when I was 6 years old. They did. Law Nation has the passcodes to this YouTube channel. That's how much of an enemy I think of him as. Law Nation has the passcode and controls to this YouTube channel.
Okay.
Now, how did he get that? Well, because I gave it to him. Why? Because he helped me set it up.
Okay, we understand that, but what...
That's how much of an enemy I think of myself as. When we went to Washington, D.C. last time around, Mark Holmes hosted a tailgate party, and I was honored to be his guest and had an absolute blast. A couple years ago, I went to Washington and went bar hopping with Katie Drummond, who I think is terrific. I got no bone to pick with any of these guys, but they have a right to have a bone to pick with me because of my mom's basement stuff. Now, to how to write a headline and how to write a thumbnail. The Hooker story at cowboysi.com is factual. And the headline says, come read this. It's important. Gene Bryant, Bosh Lombardi's another guy. I don't know him. We have mutual friends who rave about him, and I believe them. And I don't doubt for a minute that Mr. Lombardi thinks that I'm referring to him. And I'm not. So I apologize to Mr. Lombardi, who again, what I'm told is, a lot of you guys have said, you need to get Mr. Lombardi on your show. Yes. I'm gonna message him too. Piss off Michael Parsons.
Is that it?
Now, what kind of an outrageous...
Okay, so I think that's pretty much it. Okay, so Mike, listen, in my closing thoughts here, I don't want it to be a situation to where it's us versus you or you versus us. That's not what we're trying to do here. What I am trying to do here is develop consistency with why we took issue with what you said. We took issue with what you said not because of the mom's basement shit. It has everything to do with you putting the CJ Stroud story out onto the internet and with what was said and how this firestorm started. You should know that, Mike. I added you. I'll DM you. But here's what I'll do, and I'll be fair moving forward. After this video, I'm going to be honest with you, Mr. Fisher. Be as formal as possible here, and I'm not trying to joke around, guys, when I say this. Mr. Fisher, I want to be really truthful here. If I continue to see you putting these stories out there into the ether that don't really have a place in there and it feels fishy, I will DM you. I'll be like, why is it that you're putting this out there? I have already added you. I've talked about you on my Twitter account, on this channel numerous times, and why I've taken issue with what you've put out there. That I'll be honest about. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong, and I'll admit it I'm wrong. I've done that numerous times here. I didn't hear you once ever on your channel admit you were wrong, which I'm not looking for. You know, if you think that the CJ Stroud story is truthful, okay, but why put it out there? It seems like there's something there. Answer that for me. Alrighty, so I'm going to leave it at that. You didn't apologize for the CJ Stroud story, but what you did apologize for was your mom's basement comments, which again is not what we're here to talk about. We're here to talk about the CJ Stroud story. So I appreciate you, Mike, and being truthful that you're not going to do anything there. Okay, that's cool. But I just want to let you know that's why we took issue with it. So alrighty, guys, I'm going to go ahead and leave it there. Thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and you stay safe. Goodbye.